We've finally reached that point in the story when all of the projects are going to be launching one by one. We're a little bit like a bunch of settlers coming into a brand new valley and starting a town. Somebody's going to try to grow grapes. Somebody's going to try to grow apples. Someone will grow wheat. And because this is crypto, 900 people will try to be the banker. Here's the deal. Some of them will fail at their new occupations. If all the apples grown in our valley are mediocre, maybe that's not going to be our big cash crop. It doesn't mean we chose the wrong valley. It just means we need to figure out what this valley is really going to be good for. What crop can we grow here that we can export to all the other valleys? Ready? Let's go. Today, we're going to talk about this mental model of Cardano as a new settlement in a valley looking for its big, valuable cash crop that it can offer to the rest of the world. We'll also talk about a bunch of project updates from FutureFest, Ardana, Artifct, Virtua, Pavia, MuesliSwap, Ada Realm, and even Twitter. Yes, I'm going to talk about Twitter as a piece of Cardano's infrastructure because we use it so much. If you're wondering if I chose this image because it's slightly reminiscent of the harvesters from the 1995 version of Command and Conquer, yes, I did. Or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have arrived in the post-Vossel era of Cardano. You can pretty much build whatever you want in Cardano. And so far, people have built out a lot of the same use cases that have proven themselves to be valuable in other blockchains. We've got all kinds of PFP NFTs. We've got a decent number of DEXs with a lot of other DeFi projects on the way. We've got metaverse projects. And then we've got some very distinctive projects like World Mobile, things that maybe you're not going to find on other blockchains. And I'm glad we have built out some of these use cases that have proven themselves to be very popular and lucrative on other blockchains. I think we all know a lot of money moves through PFP NFTs, a lot of money moves through DeFi. Metaverse projects have found their fit in crypto as well. Having said that, I don't think we need another 50 DEXs. I'm really grateful to the teams that have built out DEXs in Cardano, and I'm glad we've got a bunch of DEXs in Cardano. But I think those will be valuable crops among the many crops that Cardano will produce. They'll be, base staple cash crops, and Cardano will probably always have DeFi and will probably always have PFP NFTs. But having said that, and I really like all of the DEXs that have been built out in Cardano, and I like the innovative touches that a lot of teams have brought to DeFi already in Cardano, utilizing our UTXO architecture. And I'm really excited for some of the new, really innovative DEXs that are still coming to us. I think we're going to build things using this UTXO architecture in DeFi that the rest of the crypto space hasn't even seen yet. AXO comes to mind here. If we're going to have some more DEXs on top of the ones we've already got, let's have some DEXs that embody big innovations. Let's have those programmable swaps. Let's have that mitigation of impermanent loss in AXO. Let's create distinctive, innovative, and truly valuable new products that the blockchain hasn't seen before. Let's have more projects in the vein of a World Mobile. attacking use cases that crypto hasn't even really looked at closely. Let's have more of that. Let's build some new things that are truly distinctive. When a world mobile goes out of the world, they're not comparing themselves to 55 other identical crypto projects that can only be differentiated by their existence on other chains. World Mobile goes out there and they say, hey, look at this. We're using crypto to do something brand new, attacking a brand new use case that before us, probably most people in crypto had never even imagined. I think you could say the same thing about something within an existing use case, like a DEX with something like an AXO. Hey, let's do this programmable swap thing. Let's see how much we can mitigate impermanent loss. And we're going to use this UTXO architecture to take this to levels that people could never even imagine in the account balance world. Those are the kinds of cash crops we need to grow in our Cardano Valley. We had to go through the phase where we attacked all of the use cases, the normal crypto use cases, to prove that they could also be done in our valley, to prove that you could also have AMMs in a UTXO environment. That was a big step. Proving that that could be done was no small feat. That was innovative in itself. But I think we've gone past that phase now. I'm glad we went through it, and I really appreciate the contribution of the teams that proved that you could do those same use cases in Cardano's UTXO system. Very grateful to those teams, but we're past that phase now. We need to grow the big cash crops that only our valley can grow, or that we're the first to grow. We need to grow the brand new things that we can export to all the other valleys because they didn't dream big enough or in the right way, or they weren't bold enough, or this, the technologies in the blockchain ecosystems that they're a part of just didn't allow. Now's the time when we need to do those use cases. We need to do the big new cash crops, so that we find the one that really sets Cardano apart from all the other valleys. There is honor and integrity in being an apple farmer and doing the things that apple farmers in every single other valley do. Just being a version of an apple farmer in our valley. There's honor and integrity there, and you could work extremely hard to be a very good example of an apple farmer. And that's great. It's probably necessary for us to have that in our valley, but it's not the innovation thing. We also need to really focus on the innovation thing and do the new things, not just the tried and true lucrative things. We can't have another blockchain of also apples. It can't be like, hey, you've heard of apples. We also have apples. And they also grow in our valley. They're apples, but from our valley. That's not a good enough pitch. We need to do the big innovative things and bring new things to the world that the world hasn't seen before, because we have this new environment, these new tools that are going to enable those new things. We need to do the big innovative things. If you want to avoid mediocrity, and I hope we all do, I hope we all want to avoid mediocrity, you've got to do the new things. You've got to do things that other people aren't doing. You can't just copy what everybody else is doing. You got to do the new things. There's got to be innovation. And speaking of new things, look at what FutureFest just did. They say that now that was a party. Thank you, Blue to Tiger, for providing the vibe for the world's first multi-destination virtual concert. But also thank you, Future Fam, for showing up. Our servers were overflowing with love. This was something new. We've seen FutureFest have virtual concerts before, and there are other entities doing virtual concerts, but we haven't seen this, a multi-destination virtual concert. This is something new, and who knows, maybe the existence of the first multi-destination virtual concert will spark some idea in someone's head, and they build something that's truly new and innovative and even bigger than this. But because FutureFest did this new thing, it leads to that next new thing that's even bigger. We need to do these kinds of new things, have these kinds of innovations. I'm glad that a Cardano project is doing something like this. Obviously, FutureFest did this in association with Unity and some other entities that are using Unity. This is the kind of stuff we need, not just the perfection of use cases that are very common in crypto. We need that too, and I'm glad we've done that. I'm glad people are working to polish and perfect existing use cases using, using templates at least that they're transferring over to the UTXO space. But we also need to do new things, find new use cases. I'm convinced that there's something out there in crypto that nobody's done yet that we're going to do in Cardano that's going to be bigger than anything that's been done in crypto so far. Be aware, I'm all over Cardano, and I've collected a lot of different assets inside the Cardano ecosystem, including some related to FutureFest, Ardana, Artifct, Virtua, Pavia, MuesliSwap, and Ada Realm, all of which we will be talking about today. Here's the actual roadmap. It says Ardana is building the first all-in-one stablecoin ecosystem built on Cardano. Q4 audit and release of DanaSwap V1. Q1 of next year, V2 release. Q2 of next year, V3 release. And then in Q3 and beyond, we see a whole bunch of things. So it looks like we're finally getting down to that point where we'll actually see a release, at least of part of the Ardana platform in DanaSwap. I think a lot of people have been waiting a long time to see what this project's going to end up looking like. Here's a much bigger pivot. You'll remember that a little over a month ago, Artifct in their Discord held a poll. They said, hey, should we create a solid market strategy and further develop our marketplace, their NFT marketplace? Or two, should they discontinue the marketplace altogether and use this cost of operations toward building a new product? Or three, should they only focus on the Artifct Moon metaverse project? And you can see how the votes came down. Currently still at 24 for, keep going with the marketplace with a new strategy, only 26 for a new product, and 293 votes for only focus on the Moon metaverse. So what did we see recently? We have made the decision to put the marketplace into deep space freeze and shut it down on the 11th of November. Please begin to delist all and any assets you have listed. Following the last poll, I will be considering the path forward for the project's future, but it is pretty clear which the community wants. I'll be taking a break from screen time and focus on a bit of personal time and recalibration of our goals. When, what, and how is currently undefined with clarity. Thank you to all our continued supporters and everyone that has shared their ideas, comments, and love throughout this process. Rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light. I am always sad when I see a project shutting down some manifestation of their project. And I think everybody else in Cardano probably is too. At the same time, this is a natural evolution. The person in our settlement in the valley who tries to grow mangoes might find out that it's not quite the right climate for mangoes. Or maybe we already have too many, maybe we are tropical enough. Maybe we don't have enough mango farms. Maybe there's already too many mangoes. Maybe the mango market is saturated and you should go out and do something different. Maybe a different type of metaverse. We've already got one Moon metaverse in Carta Station, but maybe they build a completely different type of Moon metaverse that will find its own market fit. I think this is the kind of refocusing you want to see in a dynamic and growing ecosystem like Cardano. On the metaverse front, we also found out that Virtua is going to be a very different kind of metaverse. I mean, I think we kind of already knew that, but this post makes it pretty clear. Check out our epic Virtua Prime location guide below. Cardano Island was the very first island on Virtua Prime, and you can now join the Virtua Island whitelist. And they released this image. You can see this is quite a bit different from a lot of the other metaverses we have in Cardano or elsewhere for that matter. So we know about Cardano Island. It's this little circular island up here. And we knew there was going to be other things on this Virtua planet, Virtua Prime. So we now want to know kind of what those are. So region 2, which I guess is up here, you can't quite see in this image, but region 2 up here is going to be the crypto islands. So I can imagine that those might be islands sort of similar to Cardano islands. Maybe other blockchains will jump in and have their own islands up here. Then you got Virtua Island down here. You've got brand islands over here. If they choose cool brands, if cool brands are included, that might be very, very cool. Commerce islands down here. Don't know exactly what that's going to entail other than commerce. Category islands down here, and unexpected region 5 over here. I think this is going to be interesting to see how you sort of navigate between these islands and just how cool they might be. It seems like Virtua's project is almost, sort of shaping up to be like 20 different metaverse projects all within proximity of each other. There could be some very cool things that grow out of that. We also recently got this additional teaser from Pavia about the cyberpunk district in the Pavia Plaza. Looking around at these images, I feel like I'm right back in Konpeki Plaza in Cyberpunk 2077. Look at that corporal ration. This is sizing up to be the Cyberpunk 2077 metaverse I always dreamed of in Cardano. I know that means nothing to some of you, and in fact, some of you hate the whole metaverse trend in general, but I'm very excited for this. If you hate all the metaverse stuff that I love and you're really just here for DeFi, I've got something for you too. MuesliSwap says, help us improve yield farming. Our yield farming is live and we need your feedback. Comment below with features that you consider important when yield farming. And they let you know they've already got certain features coming that they will launch soon. A harvest button. If you're involved in their yield farming right now, you know why that would be important to you. Include farming positions in liquidity overview, improved mobile view, and some surprises. I have no idea what these surprises will be, but I'm very interested. And also looking forward to some of these other features, especially that harvest button. I think that will be very, very convenient and useful for anybody involved in yield farming on MuesliSwap. Here's something interesting from one of our smaller Cardano metaverse projects, doing something in the direction of light touch governance almost. Okay, maybe not governance per se, but they figured out a way to incorporate a little bit of input from their community into the build out of their metaverse. They say, we at AdaRealm are looking to create a council. The role has multiple strands, such as passing thoughts and opinions on designs, sharing forward-thinking ideas to create added value, creating a go-to group to share information before public knowledge. This unique role will be an evolving one and is open to anyone that holds a realm plot, no matter the quantity. All we ask is for you to show commitment, honesty, and integrity. And then they give you directions on how to apply. It looks like they're going to bring on 5 to 7 people from the community onto this council. I think this is kind of interesting because creating some semblance of governance in a small project can be pretty daunting, I'm sure. There are many ways you could go about that and either create a gigantic amount of work for yourself, that maybe you don't have time for as a very small project, or you could also build something out that creates some governance that takes the project in ways that are unrepresentative of what the community would actually want. But this is an interesting way, I think. Bring on half a dozen members of the community to just give a little input into things like design. I think this is an interesting way to go. I like to keep track of Ada Realms sort of as a case study of a smaller metaverse in Cardano. We talk a lot about the very, very large metaverses in Cardano, but I think the journey of the smaller metaverses is also interesting. Finally, let's talk a little bit about this Twitter situation. I know some of you are thinking, hey, we do Cardano stuff here. We don't do Twitter stuff here. This is not a Twitter channel. We do Cardano stuff. And people also get a little bit excited when Elon's name comes up. He is definitely a polarizing figure. Some people love him, some people hate him. I understand. But I think this is relevant to Cardano because let's face it, Cardano uses Twitter a lot. A lot of the big important debates that go on in Cardano happen on Twitter. Twitter is so much ingrained in the Cardano ecosystem. It's basically a piece of infrastructure of the Cardano community. I think when I first got into crypto, Reddit was a much bigger deal in crypto. I saw a lot more of the conversations happening on Reddit. Before that, it was forum based, the Bitcoin Talk forum. But now it seems like Twitter has a sort of primacy in terms of communications infrastructure in the Cardano ecosystem. So we're going to talk about it basically. Elon says Twitter's current lords and peasants system for who has or doesn't have a blue check mark is nonsense. Power to the people, blue for $8 per month. Obviously, this was like heavily circulating in the news. A lot of people talking about this. I'm sure a lot of blue checkmark people absolutely hate this because they probably loved that they were a part of the lords class, not a part of the peasants class like the rest of us. And people would strive very hard in some cases to get that blue checkmark. I think they're going to be pretty sad that even all of us peasants can now buy the blue checkmark for $8 per month. But I think this represents something more important. We've recently talked about a possible social wave in crypto. I think this is some progress on the social media end towards something that's better than the current social media we have now. The problem is something that Elon identifies down below. So if you come down here to some of the comments he's made, he says price will be adjusted by country proportionate to purchasing power parity. I think that's great because $8 a month is a lot in some places. So he's going to adjust that down for purchasing power parity in other regions. You'll also get some other things like priority in replies, which he thinks is essential to defeat spam bots and scams, the ability to post longer videos and audio, half as many ads, paywall bypass for publishers willing to work with them. And most importantly, I think this will also give Twitter a revenue stream to reward content creators. I don't just think this piece is important because I make things that end up going on social media, including on Twitter. I think this is important because it goes to what I would call the deal we currently have with social media platforms. I would call it a very attractive raw deal. It's a raw deal, but it's very attractive because it's free. We're involved in this bargain with social media platforms where they give us the service of being able to use the social media platform for free, and we give them everything. We give them all of our privacy. They track everything we do, and they share it with companies that want to advertise to us. It's like you fall down in your kitchen, break your arm, all of a sudden, Twitter is advertising crutches to you before you even know your arm is broken. They take everything from us in terms of privacy, and most people are cool with that bargain. What I think Elon is offering us here is a chance to opt into a different bargain. It looks like if you want to keep this bargain where you give up everything in exchange for free use of the social media platform, you can do that. If you want to pay $8 per month and become one of these blue members, you get certain things like half as many ads. He's not going to target you with as many ads. Publishers can get paywall bypass, and you can actually get paid for all the content you create on the platform. I'm sure there's going to be certain criteria to get into this reward program, but it's a lot better than what we got now. Right now, I mean, Twitter's only valuable because of all the content we, the users of Twitter, create, including Cardano. In Cardano, we create a gigantic amount of content. And I'm not just talking about the sort of Cardano, known personalities, influencers, or whatever you want to call them, but the normal people just talking about Cardano, debating issues in Cardano, discussing things in Cardano. They create a huge amount of content just about Cardano. Does the Cardano community get paid for any of that? Not at all. Twitter gets paid, and they use your interest in Cardano to target you with all kinds of stuff you're probably not even interested in. And they're doing all kinds of tracking of your activities, selling that data off to those advertisers so they can target you with their many products that they think Cardano people or crypto people would want to consume. It looks like Elon's trying to change this bargain. He's trying to give you a different bargain. I would love it if we got a similar option from all the rest of the social media platforms, but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I think they like the relationship we have with them right now very, very much, and we probably have to wait for that social wave in crypto. But I hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.